If you've been coming home from pickleball feeling a little bit lost, a little bit frustrated, it could be that there's some strategic things going on that you need to get fixed. Today, we're talking about 3 classic pickleball strategies that will rarely fail you. The first one we're looking at here is the classic drive and drop. This is an absolute all-time classic. Think of it this way. If I were to do a third shot drop from here, that's pretty easy, right? Like, because I just do that and it's super simple. It's basically a third shot dink, but just humor me for a second. Pretty easy, right? What happens if I go all the way back past the street, 200 yards away? Again, like just for extreme example here, how difficult would that third shot drop be? Way more difficult, right? In other words, the further back you are, the harder your third shot drop is. So if you're doing a third shot drop from here as an example, it's much, much easier to do because all you got to do is just hit it right over. You're so close to the kitchen. The further back you are, the harder it is. So if you do get a deep return, which is happening more often these days because people are practicing their ground strokes, then it's super advantageous to do a drive instead. And what you're hoping for is that they will block the shot to midcourt and then you drop from here. Because again, we've already established that the drop is quite easy from this angle, right? So here's how you're gonna do it. Drive the ball and then drop. And that's it. That is an absolute classic strategy. Now, you can get into trouble when you do this strategy. In general, with third shot drives, if you hit a drive too high, they can block that shot right back at you. With how hot these paddles are these days, that can put you in a much worse position, which is why you got to think about what I've called the hourglass of attack. If you can kind of imagine a stick like this, almost like a seesaw, okay? Imagine there's 2 lines being drawn. We'll put like little lines on the screen. Imagine there's 2 lines being drawn on either end of this stick here. The higher the ball is, imagine there's a ball attached to the top of this stick here. The higher it is over here, the lower it can go over here, the more power the ball is going to have. But what happens when you slowly tilt the stick in the other direction? If Linda were to hit a ball that's like this, it has to travel high in order to clear the net. When it comes to the drive and drop, the net is your absolute bestest friend in the whole wide world. Because if we do hit a drive that's low like this and kind of curves down, she is forced to hit the ball higher, which means she can't hit it hard, she can't hit it aggressively, and it allows us to come into the net. That's the key to understanding this. What this also means is that you're not necessarily hitting your drives hard. That's one of the big mistakes that people make. Yes, you can mess people up with doing very hard drives, of course, but what we're trying to do, just kind of a normal, soft little swing, and we're trying to get that ball to curve over the net a little bit. Let me show you. So again, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to just hit a normal little drive, nothing too crazy. Do you see how the ball just slightly curved over? That's gonna force her to hit up on the ball.
And I would have hit it.
Perfect. A little bit of curvature coming over, and even though it was high, it was coming down. Whew, that was perfect. Really good. And again, like I'm not trying to hit it very hard. Now you can't hit the ball hard. Nothing wrong with hitting the ball hard. That's very effective. One of the downsides of hitting it super hard like that is that it gets to your opponent sooner, which means it gets to the kitchen line a lot sooner as well. So you gotta book it if you're gonna do something like that. And you know, sometimes you just gotta have confidence. You gotta have confidence that off the paddle, you know that it's gonna work. Like that. Now, this is just Linda and I. In a real game, it's obviously very different, but that gives you kind of an example of how this works. Now, here's where you can get in trouble, is when you drive from here. The good old 5th shot drive. Now, there are times when you do want to do a shot like this. However, you can very easily get in trouble. The reason is because the angles of her block are now wider, okay? The closer I am to Linda, the wider the angles are because I'm closer to her. Whereas if I'm way back here, these angles are a lot more shallow. It's basically just a triangle if you want to think of it that way, okay? So, if I do drive, so let's go ahead and feed me a shot real quick. If I do drive a ball directly at her, it can land so far away that now I'm trying to come over here to do like a dink kind of thing. I'm totally out of position, my weight is off, and the shot is closer. If I'm way back here, it's a lot easier to deal with. That's why we do the drop instead, okay? So I just want to show you again. There you go, there you have it. You do have to kind of book it up there, but that's the drive and drop. Absolute classic. The next one is serve positioning. This is such an easy one, but it works every single time. I've been hounding on this for years that people don't do enough with their serves. They just do the same thing over and over and over again. I get it. But here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna look at our opponent here, and we're gonna try to figure out just where to serve. It's a very, very simple thing, but again, it's super, super effective. So, Linda's gonna line up here, okay? Okay, now, I want you to just stay right there, okay? I want you to notice what you're seeing here. Notice how far over she is in the corner. What does that mean? If you see someone who's over there in that corner like that, it means that they're favoring their forehand and they don't wanna hit their backhand. So what am I gonna do? I hope you can see this. You can see this on the back camera, but I'm gonna come all the way over here into the corner. And the reason why I'm gonna do that is because when I serve, I wanna go as far over to her backhand as humanly possible. That's a very, very effective serve. So I'm trying to mirror what she is doing because I'm trying to hit to her backhand. If I hit it like this, and I'm right here in the center line, I'm not really doing anything. Now, there is a side of this where I could serve, you know, down the center line, kind of like that, kind of, sort of, but you're just risking hitting it out, and you're still hitting it to their forehand, okay? And you gotta be kind of sneaky with it. You gotta be kind of sneaky. Just kind of saunter over, you know, la 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 la, oops, I dropped the ball. Oh boy. Then like this, and now all of a sudden you're in the corner, and you can serve to their backhand, okay? Same thing with the forehand. Linda, scoot on over to the center line for me. Yeah. So if you see someone all the way over the center line, it's the same exact thing. She's favoring her backhand. She wants to hit a backhand. So I'm gonna serve it to her forehand. Don't give her what she wants, right? So I'm gonna serve directly to her forehand. Like that, because she doesn't want the forehand. That's why she's standing there. The other thing you can do is do a lob serve. Just lob it up every now and then. Okay, go ahead and stand in the middle for me. Yep, just see what happens. And see how they handle that. If you're playing against a tennis player, good luck. They know how to handle those balls, but that's just a very simple serve positioning thing. Here's what you do. When you line up to the serve, just stop here for a second and just observe and see what you see. What I see is Linda standing in the middle of the court where she probably should be, and which means that she's neither favoring her forehand or her backhand. So in this case, I'm just gonna test things out and see what happens. Okay, that's how you do it. Here's another standard, absolute, tried and true pickleball strategy. The 4th shot, concede or deny. So, very, very simple concept. When someone is doing a third, as their third is coming over, you have 2 choices. Do you concede or do you deny? Deny simply means if the ball is too high, then you're gonna smack it back right at them. You're gonna deny passage to the net. Say, nope, sorry, not quite good enough, okay? Let's just test that real quick. Okay, so Linda's gonna pop one up for me. Whoops, sorry, Linda. Oh, that worked. Okay, that's denial, right? That's saying, sorry, too high, not good enough. Now, if Linda hits a really good one, oh, then I have to concede passes to the net because it hit the net band, it was low, the ball was bouncing low. What am I gonna do? Do you see how low that bounced? There's no way I could do anything about that. That's conceding. And notice what Linda did there. She came in because she saw that. That is, boy, that's a huge part of this game. when they hit their serve and you hit your return, you're coming up here, or even if you're the player that's already at the net, you have to pay very, very close attention to what they're doing on their third. There's just nothing I could do about that. Do you see how low that drop was? Also, I've got some wind I'm dealing with. The wind is heading in that direction, so it's gonna make it even harder for me. Okay, so that was an example where Linda probably should not have come up. And the reason is because it was high and I was going to deny it. If you're on the third shot side, you got to really pay attention to what your opponent is doing on the fourth shot. Oh boy, yeah, that's good. And then the dinking relay continues. There we go. So, really good third, very low, pretty hard to deal with. It was below the net too, and I can't do anything when it's really below the net, especially if they come in. Deny. Too good, too good, too good. See how that works? It's a black or white thing. I either concede it or I deny it. That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, nice shot. That was such a good third. Oh man, good shot. The next thing that you have to work on when it comes to the fourth shot, when it comes to the strategy, is you got to work on your peripheral vision. When Linda hit that shot, I was getting down low, I was getting ready for it, but at the same time, I was also watching her body language. Very, very important, because if you're not watching what they're doing and you're sitting over here and you're just purely watching the ball, they could be coming in and you won't even notice. So you have to really make sure that you're watching your opponent. See, I'm watching, I can see her and the ball at the same time. Now, obviously, if it's way over here in the corner, tough luck, I guess, right? Deny. Deny. You can also do a deny, but purely based on the positioning of your opponent. If your opponent doesn't come in, you should deny them passage every single time, right? Because they're all the way back. Don't just hit a dink because they're all the way, just because they hit a good third, right? So there you go. She didn't come up, right? So even though her third was disgustingly good, I still just kind of rolled one over. So there you have it. Those are some absolute classics. If you had to focus on one, the one that I'm gonna recommend is the fourth shot concede or deny. Work on that one first if you wanna just choose one. You can go for all of them if you want to, but if you have to choose one, I would choose that one. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll see you next time.